Hello and welcome to our Year with the Ears, our daily vlog where we relive our year living in the Walt Disney World resorts in 2019. Today is day 311.
It's moving day again today, so we got up and packed everything up, including Mom's luggage as well, and called Bell Services to transfer everything from Yacht Club over to Art of Animation for us. After we finished with all that, we checked out and we started walking over to Hollywood Studios. We're very excited because we're getting to participate in something a little bit unique today. A cast member friend of ours invited us to go with them to the Wonderful World of Disney Magical Holiday Celebration. This is the Christmas special that'll be playing around Christmas time, but it's filmed all the way back in early November, which unfortunately generally means really warm temperatures. So we got there around noon and we had to wait backstage for our turn to go out there and stand in the street while they were recording, and it was very, very hot. So everyone's wearing all their Christmas stuff, but like short sleeves, not really decked out for Christmas because it's so hot outside.
We waited back there for about an hour and a half in the direct sunlight, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be in this if we look like this by the time it's done. But we did finally get the call that it was our turn. They do have different people recording at different times, so we had a specific group we were going in with. So they finally called us all out. We were all so excited. You could just hear it. Everyone's like, yes! So we get out there, and this was really unique to be a part of because you get to see the behind the scenes of things that you never think about. For instance, because it was so hot, everyone that was on stage had umbrellas during the times when they weren't recording. Now, they did give us all countdowns. We were not allowed to have our cell phones out during the actual recording times, but we could in between during the practices and stuff. So we took a lot of pictures and video when we could, but then of course we all had to put our phones away. But this was really awesome too, because one thing we've never noticed until we were a part of this, they had everyone take their ears or their hats and turn them around backwards because we're all facing the screen, everyone's recording behind us, so they wanted the Mickey ears and all of those Christmassy things to be facing the camera. And now I'm never going to unsee that in every single Disney recording we see, because whenever Disney can control it, they have everyone turn their ears or their hats around so that you can see what they look like. We ended up getting a spot over to the side. We didn't necessarily want to be in the video. We didn't mind if we were, but we didn't want to fight to be in the front. We just were excited to be there. So we went towards the side. So we were right by one of the cameramen. He was the sweetest person ever. We actually got to talk to him a little bit, but we also got to see his screen and what he was able to see, which was a really unique perspective because most people are just staring at the stage, but we got to see what he was seeing through his camera, which was amazing.
This was especially cool for me because I love doing pictures and video, and I'm always interested to see how a bigger production like this works. I've never been on the set of anything shooting for TV or anything like that, so it was really cool because he had his headset and I could kind of hear what was being called out to him, at least in the break time, and I could see what he was doing. It was just really fun to watch and be a part of, and of course, like she said, he was awesome to chat with.
Throughout the time we were there, he actually ended up chatting with us, and he's like, hey, there's a little spot, because a lot of people were moving in and out. You could leave whenever you wanted to, and so a little spot came clear, and he's like, hey, I want you to be in this part. So he had me walk a little ways up. I turned my cute little Christmas tree headband around, and he's like, I want this in the shot because everyone was wearing the exact same Mickey and Minnie Christmas ears, which is fine. They're really cute. We're at Disney World. That's okay. He's like, I want something different in this shot. And I have to say, those little Christmas trees made it in for about 2 seconds in one of the shots. So that's my claim to fame. I was in the special. My head was technically not. It was really just the little trees, but I noticed them. No one else ever will, but I noticed them, so I was in it.
And what's really funny about that is they came from the Dollar Tree. So they costed $1 versus all the Mickey headbands that were a lot more than that. We really did enjoy being here for the filming. We had a couple different artists that we stayed for. Allie Brooke was the first one to come up, and she went through her song, and I was so impressed with how they just go through the song one time and they're done. They just nailed it the first time. It was like, wow, I cannot imagine getting up on stage and just doing it cold like that. And then after she was done, they brought in a new group and they kind of shifted everyone around in the crowd. And this one was Pentatonics, which is one of my favorite groups. They are all a cappella and they did a great job with their songs.
Now, as we mentioned, we could not record anything while they were recording, but we could during the practice scenes ahead of time. So we do have video of both of them practicing, which I think is actually cooler than the professional stuff because we got to see the behind the scenes. It might be a little low.
That's just a teaser of what's about to come.
Santa is coming. You better not go. I'll tell you that. Santa is coming to town. Shaking it off. Santa Claus is coming. Santa is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
It was still really hot outside, so we did decide to leave around 3 o'clock and head back into the park. The rest of the park is open and Mom's here, so we went to a couple shows and rides, and then we went over to the Skyliner because when Mom was here with the rest of the family, the Skyliner was not open yet, so she was really excited to get to ride it for the first time, and we have to get over to Art of Animation anyway, so we took the Skyliner all the way over to Art of Animation, and when we got there, our room was ready, so we went over to the Cars building and checked into our new room and did a room tour. Then coming into here is our living room area, again with the toolbox motif on the storage there. We've got a kind of bench seat with a drawer underneath. This is where you'll find your extra linens for the bed that pulls out of the couch. And there's also a few pillows up there above the hanging rack, so you have somewhere to hang your clothes. No closet in here. So your bed is inside of this couch, which looks like the interior of a car. And the linens, as I said, are in that drawer over here. Our table is a really cool map of where Route 66 used to go right through Radiator Springs, but then the interstate bypassed the whole thing. And if you'd like to see that entire room tour, it is linked down in the description below and up there in the corner. When we were in the room, I was looking around and realized that this room hasn't been refurbished recently, but I knew that they were working on the Cars section at Art of Animation and they had finished and moved on to Nemo, so I was very confused about why this room wasn't refurbished, so I made a mental note to talk to the manager later about what the progress is on the refurbishments and what they're doing, and then we decided to call Bell Services and ask for our luggage because we're all wearing Christmassy type stuff, and Bell Services said our luggage was not here yet. I'm like, okay, well, since it's not here yet, we're not gonna have time to change. We have to get going, so we headed over to the Skyliner and went over to Epcot because we have reservations for dinner at Beer Garden. We are very excited because we love the food at Beer Garden, we love the show, and it is another free meal for us using those $10 gift cards that we got a ton of, and Mom's really excited to come eat with us for this free meal.
When we got there, they took us to our table and they sat us on the main floor, which we were so excited about because we've never sat on the main floor here. Normally we're with his family, it's a very large family, and so we're usually higher up because there's so many of us. Because there were only 3 of us, we're on the main floor, which we were super thrilled about because you feel like you get to be a part of the entire show. Everyone dancing right there basically next to you. The music is right there. It was just so much fun.
Don't be shy, everyone drinks up, thumbs up. Here we go. Take it, take it, take it, take it. Hi, hi, hi. Take it, take it. Hi, hi, hi. Take it, take it. Hi, hi, hi. Rolls, clink, glasses, and drink up. And okay.
performers there at Beer Garden are so talented, and I love watching the show, but I also love the food here. It is buffet style, so there's lots of different options to choose from. Mom was very excited because they have a very large cold salad bar with lots of different vegetables and things. I looked at that and was like, cool, you can have all of it. I'm gonna move on to the other stuff, like the pretzel rolls and beer cheese soup that is so amazing. One of my favorite things they have on the menu here. They have a carving station and a couple different types of sauerkraut and bratwurst or sausage. They have several different vegetables, including a potato casserole that's really good. And overall, I feel like the food is pretty authentic, but not so authentic that Americans won't eat it. So I was pretty happy with a lot of the food there. And then we had desserts, and there's an entire dessert buffet. There's lots of different things. I love the apple strudel. They have a vanilla sauce that goes on it. It's really, really good. But I think my favorite dessert is probably the same as Alyssa's favorite.
And much to everyone's surprise, it is actually not chocolate. It is the Bavarian cream cheesecake, and it is delicious. It is so light. It's almost like angel food cake with cream cheese inside, and you can eat so many of them and not feel guilty about it because they're so light. It feels like you're not even eating anything.
And you put fruit on top, so it's basically
I know,
like
it's
eating
perfect.
healthy. I mean, that's a great thing.
And while we were sitting there enjoying the music and the dancing and the food, Robert got a spam call from Arkansas, which is like, okay, that's not unusual. But then right after that, my mom did, and we're like, wow, what are the odds? It's so strange. And then I got a spam call. I was like, wow, we must have all ended up on the same list. Well, then Robert got another spam call from Arkansas, and they left a voicemail, and we're like, they're getting really aggressive here. Good grief. And then my mom got one too, and we're like, maybe we should answer it the next time they call. Like, this seems really odd. So I got another call, so I decided to answer it. Now, if you've ever been in Beer Garden, it can get really loud. You cannot answer a phone call in Beer Garden with the show going on. So I did have to head outside because I answered it, and sure enough, I was like, I can't hear you, I'm sorry, just give me a minute. So I headed outside, and the person said, hi, my name is so-and-so Simmons. And I was like, okay, is this like a distant relative I don't know about? And she's like, I have your luggage. I'm sorry, you what? My luggage is at Disney World. She goes, yeah, I'm at Disney World. I'm at Art of Animation. I have your luggage. How did you get my luggage? There were a lot of questions going through my mind at this point. So I asked a couple questions. For starters, how did you get the luggage and why do you have it? She goes, well, I'm staying at Art of Animation, and I think they mixed up our names because we have the same last name, but I'm staying in a Little Mermaid room. And they delivered all of your luggage, and you must have a very large group because you have a lot of it. And I felt so horrible for this girl. She was so sweet about the entire thing. She's like, is there any chance you can come and get it? I was like, I am really sorry. I'm actually finishing up at Beer Garden. We're eating desserts. I can hurry and pay for the food, but ultimately it's still gonna take me time to walk from here to the Skyliner, take the Skyliner over, but I'll hurry as fast as I can. Did you call Bell Services about the mistake? She goes, yeah. So they delivered it and I called, but it's been about an hour, hour and a half, and so it's still here and I can't really get into my room. And I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. Between my mom's luggage and our luggage, because we have extra stuff with the Halloween parties and everything, we have more luggage than we did at the start of the year. And because she's in a Little Mermaid room, it was all over her room. So I asked her to send me some pictures so that I had proof once we got back there and so I would know her room number. I said, we will get there as soon as we can. I'll ask for the bill, we'll pay, and then we will go directly to the Skyliner. We did all of that, got to the Skyliner, and while we were on the Skyliner, I got the call and she said, someone from Bell Services came, they said they took your luggage to your room. I have my luggage now, so it's all good. I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that's all settled. I'm gonna check my luggage when we get back. So we got there and we just had a pile of luggage in our room, and one of the pieces of luggage was broken. I think they literally just kind of put it all there, but because they piled it on top of each other, one of the pieces broke. So I went to the front to talk to a manager. It was pretty late at this point. Waited in the line, and again, Art of Animation is one of those resorts. There is always a line at the front desk. So I waited up there. I said, do you mind if I talk to a manager? And he goes, I'm actually a manager. How can I help you? Sweetest person ever. He was so nice. So I proceeded to tell him this story, and he goes, I don't even know what to say to you. Besides, I'm sorry. Like, that's the only thing I can say to you. This is so bizarre. I was like, I thought the same thing. So he did apologize for the luggage. We actually went to the store. He was going to replace the luggage that was broken, but they didn't have any large pieces of luggage, only small ones. So they put a credit on our account for that. And then I told him, you really need to do something for this sweet lady because she was so kind about this entire situation, but she should have never had our luggage in the first place. That's a safety thing for our luggage because we actually had our laptops with them and everything. And she was so nice about waiting for it. She didn't yell or scream or anything. She even called me just to let me know, like, hey, I have your luggage. I'm like, I trust that she didn't do anything because she literally told me she has my luggage and I have her cell phone number and where she's from. But she really deserves something for all the trouble she went through, how nice she was about the whole thing, not yelling about it. So I don't know if they ever did anything for her, but I do know that the manager took down her name, her room number, her cell phone number, because I had all that information. And I did show him the pictures as well that we had to prove our luggage really was all over her room. And this poor lady could not do anything because we have a car suite, so we have a lot more room in our room for all this luggage to spread it out. Little Mermaid rooms are not as big as those.
And since we were there talking to the manager anyway, I asked him about the progress of the refurbishment and said, hey, we have a Cars room, but I thought they were all done, so I'm kind of confused. Can you help me out? He's like, oh, well, building 2 and 3 of Cars is done, but they didn't do building 1. That's going to be the very last building they do after they're done with the entire rest of the resort. Like, that doesn't make much sense, but okay, I guess. So we happened to get a non-refurbished room. So I said, is there any chance that tomorrow or the next day while we're still here, we could go and tour one of the refurbished Cars suites? And he was like, yeah, we could totally do that. So come back tomorrow. I'm working this shift and gave us his hours. If you come back during that time, I'll find some time to get away and I'll help you do a tour of that room. So overall, I'm glad we came down and talked to a manager because we're getting that suitcase replaced and also we're gonna get to do a tour tomorrow of the Cars suite. After that, it was very late, so we headed back over to our room and tried to kind of unpack a little bit, and that was the end of our day today. So we'll see you tomorrow
For our Year with the Ears.